Hi everyone, and welcome to the Red Brick House. Today's video, I'm bringing you another table runner. This one is going to be for my dining room table. I made a mistake in the last table runner video that I made, and I said that the log cabin one was for my dining room table. That one is actually was made for my coffee table. But today this one is going to be made for my dining room table. And I'm just using some scrap material that I had left over from that log cabin project. And I'm just going to be tearing the fabric in different shapes, or not shapes, but different sizes. And I'm just going to line them up. I'm going to have a raw edge exposed, and I'm just going to just line those up onto a piece of fabric. This should be super simple and super easy, cute little table runner. And so that's what I have for you today. So join me at my table and we'll get started. Okay, so I want my finished table runner to be 80 inches long and 12 inches across. And so what I'm going to do is I've already kind of figured up my foundation that's going to go on the bottom, and it's going to roll over and hem on the top here, kind of like a quilt top would. And here I measured my fabric. This is my leftover fabric from my log cabin table runner, because I want the same colors, and so I'm going to be using all that fabric. So I wanted my fabric to measure 12 inches across here, and so that's what I did. I just measured and cut this strip of fabric. I don't know how long it is, but I'm just going to cut it in pieces because I want this table runner to just be in strips. I thought about cutting in different lines and stuff like that, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep this one really simple. And I do want raw edges on it though, because I wanted that with the log cabin and it didn't really turn out that way. So this time I really do want frayed edges. So to get that, I'm going to snip on the bottom here. Give myself a little snip with the scissors, and then I'm just going to tear it across like that. At first I really didn't like tearing my fabric like that. I just really did not like that. It stretches the fabric out, and I was like, I don't know if I like doing that, but I do love the edge that it gives. And so that's what I'm going to do. Now all these fabrics are 100% cotton, because if you're using anything that has elastic in it or anything that is polyester, it is probably not going to tear the same way. It would probably be very hard to tear, but I know that because cotton is woven like this, it tears. Once you start tearing it, it'll just tear in a straight line. And so that's what I'm using here. So I'm just going to cut and tear a bunch of different strips. They're not all going to be the same width here as this one. They're going to be all different. I do not care, I want them varied. I want them, different on purpose. And so I'm not going to measure or anything like that. And so that's my first strip, and I'm going to get busy and I'm going to do the same thing along here. I might do a big one. Let's try a bigger one. And I don't know how many I'm going to need. I'm probably going to tear way too many. And so that's my next one right there. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep going down. As long as they're the same going this way, it doesn't matter to me, like I said, how they're going to be going the other way. So I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm just going to snip wherever I think and just tear it. And I'm going to have fun doing that for the next, 30 minutes or so. have a whole pile of fabric over here now. That was so much fun. And so now I'm going to get out my sewing machine. I'm going to just pick these pieces by random. I just love these colors, all just, you know, mashed together. I think I might just like put them in a pile, mix them up here, because I want this to be totally random. And if I'm not careful, it'll not be random, because it's my human nature anyway to just start putting patterns of things together. So I'm just going to kind of just make a big mess of that. And then I'm going to get my sewing machine out, and I'm going to get my foundation piece, and I am going to sew them together by machine. Now, I've been having some pain in my arm and my elbow, and I think it might be because of all the hand stitching that I've been doing. So I'm going to give myself a break, because I had planned to hand stitch this as well, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to do it by machine so that my arms and my elbow can have some rest. Okay, so I'm using the same backing that I used in my log cabin table runner, because I want these to match, and I want it to be reversible. And I love this print. So if you didn't see that video, I'll show it to you here in this one. And this is just really cute gingerbread houses. I got this at Hobby Lobby. And it's just kind of like sugar dusted, or it has snow here, like for snowflakes, but it just, I think of sugar when I see it. It's got some candy canes on it. It's just really, really cute. Gingerbread houses and little Christmas trees. And so that's going to be my backing. And so I've got it all prepared. And all I'm going to do is I want to sew my strips. So I'll start with this one. I want to sew my strips down. I'm just going to start at one end here. If I can get it lined up. They're not lining up exactly because I'm going to have a seam allowance on this piece, this foundation piece. So I'm actually going to need to bring it in about an inch. I think I should have got some pins. Let me get some pins, because I'm going to pin this first one. Okay. So I'm going to measure. I have my rotary cutter board down here, so I'm going to use that, and I'm going to measure up an inch, because I'm going to fold, I hope you can see this, I'm going to fold this over about a half an inch, and I'll fold it over again, and that's how I'll finish it off. That's how I like to finish off my quilted things sometimes. And so let me measure on my board here an inch. Okay. And then I'm going to lay my fabric under that to give myself a seam allowance. This first one will be tricky. Let me get it pinned on, and then I'll show it to you so you can see what I mean. Because I'm have to allow a seam allowance all the way around this first piece. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't really matter, I guess, because I could always, I guess it really wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter if I folded over on top of this pink. I mean, really, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to do it that way. Anyway, so I'm just going to start sewing here. And I'm just going to top stitch this across. And I want frayed edges, but I probably won't get frayed edges on this first piece. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. I'm probably going to just put maybe one piece on top of the other. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew this down and get started on this piece. I don't normally quilt things on the machine, so this is kind of new territory for me. I mean, I have made quilt tops on the machine, but I've never just sewn things to the back. But I wanted to do it this way so that I would have stitching on the underside, kind of a quilt as you go, you know. I want to go ahead and have that quilted stitching underneath here, even though I'm not putting any batting in or anything like that. Although That would be cute if I did add some batting. That would be really cute. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to keep it simple. And so here we go. Okay, so here's what it looks like. I really like it. I really like how it's turning out. And so I wanted to show you how I'm going to do the trim around the edges. So I'm gonna pull this down a little bit so you can see better. And what I'm going to do is, I do this in a lot of my quilts and different things. So if you may have seen me do this before. I'm pretty sure there's a certain name for this technique, but I'm not really sure what it is. I'm sure that like my mom did not make this up. She probably did what her mom did, and her mom probably did what her mom did. You know, those things kind of get passed down. But this is how my mom always did the edges of quilts and different things like this, is that you want your backing to be bigger than your top. And then I'm just going to fold it over. Now, I'm not sure how this backing is going to look with this colors, because these colors don't necessarily match, but I'm going to go with it because that's what I got. So I'm going to fold it over like that. Let me bring you in. There we go. Here. So it's very simple. You just fold it over whatever length you want. I'm going to do about quarter to a half an inch. I'm just eyeballing it. And probably about a half inch. And then I'm going to fold it over again like that, and I'm going to pin it. And then typically I would hand sew this. But like I said, since I've been having some pain in my arm, I'm just going to go right down this edge as close as I can to the edge of this little hem. That's what I'll call it. Because it is kind of like making a hem. I'm just going to sew right along the edge there. And then this project will be done. It's going to be so fast. Like, this just worked up so fast, probably because I used the machine. If I had hand stitched all of these pieces, I might have like 6 pieces on here. The machine does definitely make it faster, but it's not as enjoyable. But you know, sometimes you want just a quick and easy project. Sometimes I want to labor over things and really take my time with it, and then other times I just want to get it done. I just want a quick, simple project that I can whip up and have something beautiful for my table. And so that's what I'm doing here, especially during this time of season, you know, around the holidays when things just get really busy, you know. So I think this project is perfect for that. So I'm going to get to fixing these edges and sewing them down, and then I'll show you the end result. I also wanted to mention the corners here. I didn't say anything about that. I just realized that. So I always start like up a little ways from the corner here, and I'll go ahead and finger press that, get my hem started here. So I'm going to come up like that. I'm going to get my pins and I'm going to pin it, of course. You could iron this, that would make it easy too. And then I work my way to my corner. And I find that to be a little bit easier than trying to start at the corner. For some reason, I'm not sure why. I think because when you start on the edge and this is all flipped this direction, it's kind of hard to keep that corner down. But once you start a little further up, that fabric, see, it already wants to do what this is doing. So that's just how I do it. You can do it how you like, but that helps me out. So I just thought I would share that. I'm going to pin that for now. And then to do my corner, I'm going to do the same thing. But I don't want to do this corner down here at the other end until I get this side done first. So on my corners, I'm going to do the side edges first. And then I'll flip this over. So I'm going to go ahead and start that at the bottom just so you can kind of see. So I'm going to go ahead and do this edge as well. Oh, I need to go one more. What am I doing? Fold it over one more to have a nice pretty edge. And then I'm going to tack that down. Oh, another thing that I had thought about, this is kind of random, but on these, some of these seams, I thought about using the different stitches that are available on my sewing machine because I never use those. I have like 100 different types of stitches and I never use any of them. Some of them take quite a bit of thread, but I had thought about doing that in some of these like more plain areas, but I kind of decided against it. I may do that in the next one, or I could do it in the future. You know, just because you hem up the bottom doesn't mean you can't go back and work some more decorative stitching on your quilt top or your whatever you're making. Okay, so I made it over to the corner. I'm going to stitch that down, not right at the edge, but a little bit away from the edge. I'll probably take those out here in a minute. And I'm going to turn it this way so just so you can see it better. So now I have both sides here pinned down. I'm going to bring it out a little bit. There we go. And now I'm going to flip this edge over. And I will do the same thing, of course, on the other end. So I'm just going to flip it over once, finger press it down, really nice and flat. Then I'm going to fold it over one more time. And I'm going to put a pin in the middle. And then I'll go over here to the sides where I had put those pins and I'm going to take them out. Make sure that corner is really folded nicely. And I'm going to pin it back down again. Just like that. Then I'm going to do the same thing to this corner. I'm going to take this pin out. Flip it down nicely. And then I'm going to put a pin in that corner. I could also put more pins in here if you want to. I'm going to, since I didn't iron it. If I had ironed it, it probably would be just fine and it would have stayed. And there we go. So that edge is all ready to stitch. So that's what I'm going to do. And now I'm just going to continue to pin the whole thing and then I'll start the stitch work. Okay, so when I got to the end of this stitch, because I'm using a machine, I went all the way to the edge of the tablecloth or the table runner here, and then I just gently back stitched until I got back to the place. I wonder if I can bring it in more. I got back to the place where I want my stitches to go this direction. Okay, and so instead of, I still have my needle in here, and instead of tying it off, cutting it off, that kind of thing, all I'm going to do is I'm going to raise up my presser foot with my needle intact, and I'm just going to turn my fabric. I'm going to pivot. I'm going to turn my fabric this way, and then I'm going to lower my presser foot back down, and I will be ready to stitch forward now. Let me push it back a little. And so then that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep stitching, and I'm going to do that at all of my corners. Okay, it's all complete. I think it's really, really cute. I really like it. The only thing that I think I would change about it is I think maybe I should have gone ahead and made a binding for this instead of flipping over the edge like I normally do, because I had kind of planned to use this through Christmas and into like Valentine's. You can kind of see the back. I'll kind of zoom in, and you can see on the edges, if you look really closely, there are like some candy canes up here. You can see like some Christmassy things, and it's not that noticeable, but yeah. So I don't think I mentioned it in this video, but I kind of changed up my Christmas colors last year, and I really liked it. I had bought some mauve pink and burgundy and kind of these colors of ornaments and things, and decorated my tree that way. And so this year I wanted to make some things that would complement that and go in my home. And that's the reason why this is a Christmas project for me. But you could adapt this to any holiday, any season, or just random colors. You could just use up your scraps, and it's just a great little project, I think, and so simple and easy. And like I said, you can always come back and add more decorative stitching if you wanted to. Let me show you the back. So this is so cute. I just love the back of it too. So I may choose to use this side, you know, part of the season, and then I might flip it over and use the pink and burgundies. So anyway, I hope you found this interesting. I hope that it gives you some ideas of some things that you can do with your leftover fabric and make a cute table runner. And this project took me, you know, maybe one afternoon to make this. So it was just super quick and super easy to make. And so with that said, I thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, you are my hero. It really helps out my channel when people watch videos to the end. And so I just thank you so much for that. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.